Welcome back to another episode of What Are You Made Of with your boy, Mike C-Roc. Guys, thanks for joining us. I got a shirt on today that says gratitude, and gratitude is the most important thing in my life. I start my day with gratitude. I know it goes in one ear and out the other because you hear it a lot, but let me just take a moment to just talk to you about one thing. Ever since I started gratitude in the morning, my days and life have gone so much smoother. No matter what happens to me, I'm just thankful for what I have, but I still continue to go for more. If you know me, I go for it all. But I'm always thankful for what I have and the experiences that I've had. And today I just want to start the show with that, to thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of the What Are You Made Of movement, Rocket Fuel movement, and support your boy C-Roc and all of his guests. So today we brought a local guy up to the show. And one thing we do is we do agent liftoff for real estate agents to try to get them exposure and help them out. And of course we build relationships that way and build our business that way in the mortgage industry at Nations Lending. But some guests, I just feel the need to bring him on this one because this What Are You Made Of is about sharing a story. And also he's Italian like myself. So I know that this is going to run a little longer than 15 minutes. So I decided to bring Tony Immediato on the show. He's known as the real estate chef, sautéing deals in Delaware, owned Italian Bistro for 13 years before getting into real estate. Always had the interest in real estate, but being the chef owner, hard to do both. So it was time for a lifestyle change once his youngest went to college. And now he is sautéing the real estate deals. Look, this bio is written in first person, third person, fourth person, sixth person. So I apologize. I like to read it. I should have just memorized it. But Tony, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, Mike. Hey, listen, I'm one of those people that is first person, second person, third person, sixth person. So it really just depends on the conversation and how it starts. And, when you're writing about yourself, it's kind of like a little goofy because, school was never my thing. So for me, growing up in a family business, you always had this big picture of a family business. And it's like, oh, I can do this and I can do that. And you've done everything from the bottom to the top. So, that's kind of what built me into my culinary career.
Hold on. I got to stop you because I got to ask the question first. I didn't ask you the question yet. So I don't want you to go too far. So hold on a second here. He's trying to take over the show, man. I told you guys.
It's being Italian. Do you know what I mean?
I know. And I knew this was going to happen. So that's why I stretched the show out to the What Are You Made Of instead of Agent Liftoff. So before you do that, though, I also have one of my partners and best buds from back when I was 10 years old on. We're partners in the mortgage industry and several other businesses now. Bo Cox is in the house today for the first time on the What Are You Made Of show. It's about time he made an appearance. What's up, Bo?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for bringing me on, man. I'm always behind the scenes following along, but I've never really had the courage and ambition to come on and be a part of this. So Mike reached out to me this morning and said, hey, man, would you join us? And I tried to back out of it 2-3 times. And I've learned over the past couple of years that you just got to get out of your comfort zone. And Mike's the king of making people get out of their comfort zone. So I just had to get on here and follow along with you guys. So thanks for having me.
Yeah. And he knows me too from over the years that I won't let him go. So I'll on the phone, texting him, calling him, get him on the show. So, but no, I'm looking forward to the energy you're going to bring. And Tony, now's the time. Okay. Now's the time I'm going to ask you the question. What are you made of?
A little bit of sugar and spice. Just depends on what the day brings. I don't know. I don't even know where to start. So growing up, I was always a little guy. Everybody, said this, said that. And, I was wild and crazy in my younger days. So, you always set these goals when you're young. And, I said I was going to own my own house by the time I was 20. And then I was going to have my own business by the time I was 30. And, you set these goals. So when everybody counted me out because I was wild and crazy, I made them all look and proved them all wrong. So, that was the biggest thing for me at 19. I met my wife, asked her to marry me after 30 days, which everybody thought was crazy. So I proved them wrong there. We've been married for 24 years. I guess we were engaged for, 18 months. Then we got pregnant. So then my son was born in, I bought a house in September. My son was born in November. I turned 21 in December and we got married in January. And failure's never been a word in my book. So it was like, just kind of jump on board and hit the road. So with that being said, here I am today, 45 years old. I worked in my family's business, and I was running a bar and grill there. I kind of started in the dish room and the bakery, and kind of just worked my way up through there, and then learned everything hands-on. School was never my thing. And I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things. School doesn't, when you're an entrepreneur, doesn't teach people entrepreneurship. It's kind of like just a regimented school. Well, I mean, like you said, when you're reading my bio, I mean, I know how to count. Numbers are good. So, I mean, there's always the decimal point's always going to be in the right place. I mean, if it comes up on spell check, then it's going to be spelled correctly. It was just brought to my knowledge that me and Bo did a mortgage talk for my YouTube channel. And, you know, I'm sitting there editing this thing last night, drinking wine. Well, I forgot the T in mortgage, but you know what? That's kind of what makes it me, because it's fun. You know what I mean? What can you do to make it fun? It's always about a conversation piece. So back to growing up, I ran the family business, bar and grill for our golf course for, I don't know, 12, 13 years. And then I had an opportunity to buy a building and business in Middletown, and I left the family business. So it was kind of funny. You know, everybody's like, oh, you think the grass is greener on the other side, this, that, and everything else. And I was like, whoa, hold on. I'm taking a chance. So like a craps game, I threw the dice. I put everything in. I took a line of credit out on my house, and went down, bought this business. I mean, I was 29 years old. Right? No, it was, 29. And I basically bought it and didn't tell my wife, because all the connections that I made at the golf course, I had a commercial banker. So I said to him, I said, Christian, you think I can afford this? You know what I mean? At that time, I was only making what, $31,000 a year. I was buying a $250,000 building and business. I already had a house. So I'm like, why not stretch the line a little tighter? And he goes, commercial? It's a business and there's an apartment upstairs? I said, yeah. He said, give me the numbers. I'll run them. He came back and said, yeah, we can make it work. So then he goes, go put an offer and see if they accept it. I did. In 2005, Immediato subs and steaks started. And that was kind of the front business for the Immediato's catering. And as that grew,
I thought you were going to say the front for something else.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how Italians are, as everybody thinks.
That's it. I mean, the front was the sandwich shop, the cash business. You know what I mean? But then the building next door became available. I got into a bidding war with that, and a big investor ended up buying it. And he redid the whole thing, and it sat empty for 8 months. And I called him up and I said, hey, Robert, I said, I got this vision. What do you think? He goes, let me talk it over with my wife. And that's when I broke through the wall and opened up a 42-seat bistro, and then just took off from there. So I had the perfect triangle. I had my catering, I had the takeout shop, and then I had the bistro. So it was just kind of like the perfect triangle, because if one was slow, the other one picked it up. And, you know, I had two boys. They were wrestlers. They both competed in the state. The one, he was a three-time state final. Well, yeah, three-time state final, state champ. They both went to college. One wrestled 4 years at King's College. The other one went freshman year, and then beginning of sophomore year. And, you know, college life got the best of him, you know, partying. I mean, he has a chip off the old block. School's just not for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
So at that point, when they went to college, you know, I was so involved with their careers in wrestling, and I didn't want to miss out. My motto has always been, there's always plenty of time to make money, but you can't always make memories. So don't let those memories, you know, disappear because you're so focused on making money. Because, I mean, the hustle's always there to kind of grow and build and keep on going. You just have to have your priorities and goals in check so that you can kind of keep that thing going. Like you said, I did always have an interest in real estate. And it was kind of like, you know what, if I get out of this, maybe that's what I'll get into. And boom, that's 2018. That's kind of when I made that leap. And everybody thought I was crazy because I'm in my 40s and I'm changing a whole career path. But I mean, when you're self-employed and you believe in yourself and you have the right mindset, I mean, you can kind of accomplish anything, because I've always been that person, that underdog that everybody's always thought different. And I've always had to prove them all wrong. So, I mean,
love it.
Here I am today. You know what I mean?
So wait a minute. So did you shut the business down? The restaurant?
Yeah. So basically I had it up for sale. I had some people that were interested, but it was at a crazy time. And then basically the other side that I didn't buy, that lease came up for renewal. And I was like, well, shit happens for a reason. You know what I mean? Here it is. I'm not renewing that lease. And then there was a gentleman that was purchasing up most of Main Street in Middletown. So I went to him and I said, hey, you want to make a deal? And we came up with a deal that worked for me and him. And I sold the building, and here we are, you know.
Gotcha. So
the real estate chef was born.
So look, take me back. I want to go back further, man. I want to go back to growing up, right?
Yeah.
Growing up, and your family, did your family start Three Little Bakers, or they buy that?
Nah, they started. So the history with that is my grandfather and brothers. Well, actually, to go back even further than that, my great grandfather and his brother came over. My great grandfather and great grandmother opened up a bakery on Lincoln Street, and then they had the bakery. The great grandmother got sick and she passed away, and my great grandfather, you know, basically ran a business, but still had trouble with the books. So my grandfather quit school in 8th grade to work in the bakery with his father to keep contributing to the family. At that point, his 2 brothers were still in school doing all that. They were on the gymnastics team in school. So that's kind of that whole story, which then my great grandfather ended up selling to a different company, but they still worked the bakery. Then as they grew up, they got into tumbling, and they became the Acromaniacs. So basically the Acromaniacs in our time is like the Circus Soleil.
Yeah.
They did all kinds of tumblings, traveled around the country with big bands. They would do like 4 to 6 shows a day. One of their biggest things they're known for was the standing 3 high, where they would start down on the ground, they would climb up each other's shoulders, and then they would fall forward and do tumbles, and then back handsprings, and then they would catch them on the feet. I mean, if you go on YouTube, there's a video there, you can see the whole thing, you know, and then it kind of brings it all to light. But
it was back in the day, guys, just for you audience that never heard of Three Little Bakers up in Northern Delaware. It was a like a theater type environment, dinner theater, right? Dinner theater type environment.
950 seat dinner theater, golf course, country club with 2 banquet facilities.
Yeah. So it was pretty awesome. I used to go as a younger kid, and then into my teen years with my parents, and good times, man. I was always entertained by it. And I just, who would have thought that we'd be in a situation now that you come on the show, but,
I know, right?
So Tony, the other thing I wanted to ask you about being married and, dating your now wife, your girlfriend, and asking her to marry you within what, would you say 30 seconds, or was it 30 days?
30 days.
30 days. Okay.
Yeah.
I said something to my wife in 30 seconds when I saw her. I'm like, I'm marrying her. I don't know if I told her, but as soon as I saw my wife, I'm like, and when I set my sights on something, for those of you know me, I get it. It's not like I'm not spoiled. Like I just get things handed to me, but I'm so laser focused. And I also talk about being stubborn and perversely unyielding, which is what stubborn means, that I go get it. So can you tell me some lessons you learned in a relationship after only 30 days of asking to get married, and still lasting 24 years, which is fantastic? You couldn't really have known each other that well after 30 days. What are some lessons and some hurdles that you went through in a relationship early on that you kind of had to get over when you're learning about your partner?
Yeah, I mean, as young, I mean, like I said, I was wild and crazy. So, the Italian boy that I dated girls, and I was always running around. I mean, being in Three Little Bakers, and, I was always older than everybody else my age. So I was always being in the dinner theater business. So when I met her, she is older than me, 4 years. It was just one of those things that clicked. Like, I mean, it's like buying a house. When you walk in, it's the one. I mean, it was with her, it was just the same thing. It was like, wow. And like you said, in 30 seconds. So I asked her I went and picked her up, and this is a crazy thing. I would get my hair cut at the salon, and she was an assistant at that time. So she would shampoo my hair. So the girl cut my hair. I was like, hey, she's pretty cute. Here, give her my number. So she called, she didn't. So I planted that seed. So she didn't call that night. She called the next night, and I was hungover. She was hungover. It was like around 10 o'clock. And then I forced the issue, and I went and picked her up. And I took her out, and we were hanging out, and we were sitting there talking, and I looked at her in her eyes, and we were at actually Battery Park in Old Newcastle. And I said, you're going to have my kids. She goes, you're crazy. Right. And it was just clicked. And then, I mean, honestly, to tell you God's honest truth, I mean, the only big hurdles that we had was, she was apprenticing and then all that type of stuff as a cosmetologist. So she was getting her chair, and then she was pregnant. So it was like she was building her own career, but then, we were having a baby and this and that. So it made things difficult on that end, which, at that point, it's always my fault, which I'm good. I get that a lot, but I always seem to make it right. But overall, I mean, we've just been best friends, soulmates, partners. And I mean, you think I can talk? You're lucky she's not sitting next to me. I mean, the
Well,
two of us, it's
we can get her on the show. I mean, that's not a problem.
I mean, we did a cooking show together when we had the restaurant, and there's some episodes on YouTube as well, cooking with the Immediatos. And it was just funny because nothing's ever scripted, you know, you just kind of rock and roll and go with it. So the second episode, she was nervous, this and that. So she did a shot of espresso, and then she had 2 glasses of wine. Well, let me tell you what, it was. And so I would have to like jump in front of her and cut her off. And then our production guys, they were pissing themselves laughing. But I mean, me and her, we complete each other. So there's nothing, I mean, there's no perfect relationship. You're going to always argue and bicker about things, but it's how do you rebound and this and that. But I mean, I love her to death. She's my soulmate. And I mean, 24 years later, when everybody thought I was nuts and crazy in 30 days, guess what? I told you so. She was the one.
I think, honestly, Tony, I think that's awesome that you could do that. And like, I don't think you really touched on it much, but your wife helped you in the family business, right? Like when you had the restaurant, so to being able to, number one, stay in a relationship, you know, for 24 years, be happily married, but also work alongside each other, right? Like that's huge. And not a lot of people can do that. Like how many marriages do you see that don't succeed because of, you know, differences with, you know, different things as far as employment and jobs and trying to work together, stuff like that. So very, very cool that you guys could do that, man. That's something to be proud of for sure.
It's actually awesome. But I mean, there is a big challenge factor there as well, because of the fact, you know, every time you wake up, I mean, and you're getting ready, then you're going to work. And then like I could, when I walked out the door, like work was always stage. You know what I mean? When you're at work, you're on stage. As soon as I walked out that door, I would turn it off, and I didn't bring all that craziness home. But I mean, you were always still thinking about the next day and what you needed to do. But I tried to keep it as separate as I could, where that was the hard part for her, because I mean, dealing with employees, especially in this generation, it's more of an adult daycare, you know, and that's the part that's the most challenging, because you're always looking and trying to appease everybody, you know, not only the customers, but then the employees. So, I mean, because if you don't have that perfect
culture
team, you know, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Because if it's rocky on the back end, people see it on the front end. You know what I mean? So it goes along with everything.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference or feeling that you have since you've gotten out of that, not having to worry about that part of it anymore, and into real estate now?
Well, I mean, it took me 3 months to really kind of figure out, because I mean, going from, you know, 12, 15 hours a day to, oh shit, what do I do now? Like, you know what I mean? My body and mind was programmed to go, produce, do this, do that, like 100 things, you know, just multitasking, to where it took a while to kind of get used to that time, because I never had that time, you know what I mean? And then when I had the time, I closed. You know what I mean? To go on family vacations, take the kids to tournaments, do whatever I had to do in that aspect. But it was a big challenge. So for me now, I mean, I have the time. I mean, I still do personal chef things and certain catering things for clients. You know, I pick and choose a lot of that now, because the real estate's really growing. But it's just one of those things. It's a hustle that I don't think I could ever get rid of, because the food just comes so easy and naturally. But I mean, that's one of the things too. Get these people in the houses and then go in and cook them a meal. Like it's just kind of fun, you know?
Yeah, dude, that's a great branding, man. Awesome.
Well, that was it. Like going into it was like, how do I go from the food service industry my whole life into something totally different? So it was like, how do I brand myself? Well, you know what? Everybody knows me as this. So it's just a fun tagline. And it's like funny, people will come up and, hey, you're the real estate chef, right? Oh, you're sautéing deals. So it's just like, it's a conversation starter, and it kind of goes with my personality.
Yeah.
And also too, with your family history, I mean, you know, like there's different families in the state of Delaware throughout the years of, you know, different things as far as, you know, whether it's sports or restaurant industry, whatever, like that family history that you have, like that's a strong connection to people like of our generation and older. Like if I ask 10 people, have you ever been to the Three Little Bakers dinner theater? 7 or 8 of them are going to say yes, right? So to say, hey, that was my grandparents, and that was my family business. That is really cool.
I mean, I've never met Mike, and I mean, when we started talking, he's been there. I mean, so many catering jobs I've been on. There's been somebody at the event, or somebody that I'm doing the event for. It's been a part of their life, even in the real estate. I mean, at some point or another, I mean, we were the number 2 biggest tourism draw to Delaware, besides the beaches, back in their time. You know what I mean? So it was like, even people outside of the state know Three Little Bakers. So it's just a neat heritage. And I've just been fortunate enough to continue that legacy and, saute food for years after that has dissolved and kind of grow. I mean, one of the funniest things about that is my Uncle Richard, he's like, it's kind of crazy. My whole life, I go to the doctor, I go here, I go there. And it's like, Immediato, oh, Three Little Bakers. And then all of a sudden they're going, Immediato's in Middletown? Oh, I know Tony. Oh, Immediato's. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of something that they built for 45 years. And then in 10 years, the name recognition and the personality and character of me and my wife kind of took over that. You know what I mean? So it was just a great continuation of something, of a tradition that my family's built for over, 100 years.
No, I love it. So Tony, how can our audience get in touch with you and, get engaged with you as far as real estate in Northern Delaware? What's the best way for them to reach you?
So, I mean, definitely you can call me by phone, but I mean, I have Instagram, Tony Immediato, the real estate chef. I got a YouTube channel, Tony Immediato, the real estate chef. My email, tonyimmediato@gmail.com. Simple. And then, phone number 302-218-7947.
And your YouTube channel. Don't forget that, man. You got to get that YouTube channel up, get them subscribed.
I know you were my YouTube guest yesterday.
Yeah, let's get there, guys. Go check him out, man. Go check Tony out. Obviously, he's entertaining, as you see. Go to the YouTube channel. I'm sure his wife will be on there talking too. She's entertaining, and them together probably is a great show. Tony, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. If there's anything I could ever do for you, reach out, man. I know I'm, down in Ocean City, Maryland here, but I'll be popping up that way to see you at some point, and we'll make something happen. So, any final words, Tony?
Like my tagline is, Mike, we saute deals. So on my side, your side, I mean, being a partner with Bo is a great thing for my clients, and I mean your company as well. So I'm just fortunate enough to be able to come on and tell my story, and just tell all those people that are out there. When people think you can't do something, just believe in yourself, set your goals, and work towards them. An old timer once told me, he goes, when you invest in yourself, you'll be successful. When you invest in somebody else, they're going to be successful. So that's something that always has stuck in my brain. And it's been as you say, my fuel. And that's what I've always just built myself upon, and just having the respect of myself and believing in myself. And any challenge that came across, I've taken it full steam ahead and jumped on that bull, and here we are, we're riding it. So.
I love it, man. Love it. Thank you so much for coming on today. Guys, thank you for listening to the What Are You Made Of show. Bo Cox, thank you for listening. Go follow Bo Cox. Hey, what's your website, Bo? Bo Knows Home Loans?
BoKnowsHomeLoans.com.
And that's
B-O, BoKnowsHomeLoans.com.
B-O, BoKnowsHomeLoans.com. And also on Instagram, check him out. Bo Cox, his name is spelled there, B-E-A-U. But go check him out, follow him. And thank you so much for listening to the What Are You Made Of podcast. Keep coming back. Subscribe here on your podcast platform that you prefer, or YouTube channel if you like watching these. Mike C-Roc, Ciorrocco. And one last thing, guys, go get that Rocket Fuel book, man. Forward written by none other than Grant Cardone himself. MikeCroc.com/book. MikeCroc.com/book. Go get it. It will change your life. It'll help you become unstoppable. Till next time, be great.